8 days remain before we, the electorate, make our choice. And tonight, the representatives of 7 parties are here to make their pitch to our audience here in Cambridge and to you at home. Welcome to the BBC Election Debate 2017. Good evening and welcome to Senate House at the University of Cambridge for 90 minutes of question, answer and live debate. We invited the leaders of 7 parties to take part. Some are here, others chose to send senior representatives. Those here are Tim Farron, leader of the Liberal Democrats, the leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn, Caroline Lucas, co-leader of the Green Party, the leader of Plaid Cymru, Leanne Wood, Paul Nuttall, the leader of UKIP, and Angus Robertson, the deputy leader of the SNP. Our audience was selected by a leading opinion polling company to ensure that they are representative of the country as a whole. They support different parties. Some are undecided voters, and they are also equally split along the lines of last year's EU referendum. Half voted to leave the EU and half to remain. And if you'd like to join in the debate at home, you can do so on Twitter using the hashtag #BBCDebate. We begin with opening statements from all 7 politicians, the order of which was decided by the drawing of lots. First, it's the leader of Plaid Cymru, Leanne Wood.
Theresa May called this election because she's taking you for granted. She won't turn up to these debates because her campaign of soundbites is falling apart. Unlike Theresa May, I'm not afraid to defend my policies, my principles, my values. Plaid Cymru exists to defend and build up our country. In Wales, it is Plaid Cymru that stands for fairness and equality, and everyone who chooses to call Wales home. For 100 years, Wales has voted Labour. It hasn't stopped Tory rule. Labour in Wales have their own manifesto, and they're airbrushing their leader out of their campaign. When Plaid Cymru has tried to ban 0 hours contracts and to stop the bedroom tax, Welsh Labour voted against us. It's time we stop doing what we've always done. Let's instead give Wales a voice. Give Plaid Cymru a mandate. Elect a strong team of Plaid Cymru MPs to fight for a successful future for Wales.
And our next opening statement is from Caroline Lucas of the Green Party.
On June the 8th, you can lay the foundations for a new kind of politics. Your vote can change everything. Imagine this. A country that leads the world in clean energy, not fracks its way to climate chaos. A country that spends its money on hospitals and schools, not nuclear bombs. A country that welcomes child refugees, not blocks them at the border. A country that's open to its neighbours, not isolated from them. A country that celebrates diversity, not fears it. A country that's friends with the good guys, not the climate criminals and the dodgy dictators. A country that cares for those with dementia, not one that taxes them. We've shown time and again, you don't need the keys to number 10 to open the door to change. On June the 8th, let's unlock that door together. Fearless Green MPs in opposition to the Tories. Independent Green MPs holding Labour's feet to the fire. Pioneering Green MPs to make our economy fit for tomorrow. We decide the future by what we do now. Vote Green on June the 8th.
And the next of our opening statements is for the Conservatives. It's Jeremy Corbyn.
Tonight, I am here to debate the future of our country. The question in this election is whether we want a country for the many or just a few. The state of our NHS, our children's schools, social care for older people, our young people saddled with debt. None of that is remotely strong or stable. And now the Conservatives want 5 more years of cuts to our vital public services to fund tax handouts for the wealthy few. Labour will make very different choices. There will be no tax rises for 95% of taxpayers, but we will ask those with the most to contribute a bit more so no one is held back from achieving their potential. On June the 8th, you have a choice: more cuts in services and living standards with the Conservatives, or vote Labour to transform Britain for the many, not the few.
And now the UKIP leader, Paul Nuttall.
UKIP will always put the interests of British people first, whether that is prioritising our NHS and social care over a bloated and ineffective foreign aid programme, or protecting those who are most at risk from wage compression because of unskilled mass immigration. UKIP will always stand up for those who have been let down and left behind by the Westminster elites. Now, a government's job, first and foremost, is to protect the public. Our police, our intelligence services, our armed forces and our border force must be given the tools and the resources they need to do their jobs effectively. But money isn't everything. Politicians must show leadership. They must, without fear or favour, ensure that our way of life, our values and our democracy is secure. I believe in our great country. I believe in British values. I believe in our way of life. And as you will see tonight, UKIP believes in Britain.
The SNP opening statement from Angus Robertson.
Good evening. This election is about the kind of country we want to be. Now, more than ever, Scotland needs strong SNP voices at Westminster. And SNP MPs will work with others to promote fairness across all of the UK. A vote for the SNP is a vote against Tory cuts that will harm our public services and push many more hard-working families into poverty. It's a vote for jobs and against an extreme Brexit, which will put jobs and living standards at risk. It's a vote to reinforce the right of the people of Scotland to decide their own future. We can't afford a Tory government which thinks it can do anything it likes without being held to account. And we can't give Theresa May a blank cheque to pursue any kind of Brexit, no matter the cost. In Scotland, the SNP is the only party strong enough to stand up to the Tories. So vote SNP for a strong voice for Scotland at Westminster. That voice is needed now more than ever.
And for our final opening statement, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Tim Farron.
Where do you think Theresa May is tonight? Take a look out your window. She might be out there sizing up your house to pay for your social care. And why do you think she called this election? She wants 5 years as Prime Minister, and she thinks you'll give it to her, no questions asked, literally. Even if she brings in a dementia tax, sacks your kids' teachers and nicks their lunches while she's at it. We can all agree that is a rubbish offer. Look, I know we don't all agree on Brexit, but she's off to negotiate a deal for you, for me, for all of us. Imagine if it's a bad deal. I mean, dementia tax bad. I know that to persuade you to vote Liberal Democrat, I have to give you some really good reasons. So here's 3. 1, I'll rescue the NHS and social care by putting a penny on income tax. 2, I'll give you the final say on the Brexit deal, not Theresa May. 3, whatever power you give me, I'll use it to stop her taking you for granted.
Thank you all for those opening statements.